Hey everybody, it's Ryan here from Android Coliseum, and here to do my review of the Bell exclusive Sony Xperia Z2. Yeah, it's been quite an amazing phone, and Sony's been one of those companies that we really haven't seen too much go on about. I mean, really don't hear much about it. They really only have a couple phones, I think, on the market in total right now. So I was really excited to see something different, and I always like to sort of, try everything out, and here it is. So what do we get in this phone here? Let's take a look at the specs. This is a 5.2-inch display. It's a 1080p resolution. It's got that fancy tri-luminous display. I've had to turn the brightness down on this just so we can get the camera to focus on it. It's a 2.3 quad-core processor, the Snapdragon 801. It comes with 3 gigs of RAM, so a lot of memory in there for you to run a lot of different apps. 16 gigs storage. It does have the micro SD slot. We have a 20 megapixel G lens camera that has the 1/2.3 size inch sensor. So I was really excited to try that guy out. We also have the fact that it's IP58 tested, meaning 8 out of 9 for water. Yeah, this was getting a dunk test, and you can see that. And it comes with the KitKat. So a lot of great specs out of the box. I mean, so this should be a fluid device. But first, let's talk about some of the form factors. So here it is. It's kind of large and tall, as you can see. Here's my Nexus 4, and it's standing above that. It's really kind of tall. It's big. Kind of makes it have that sort of slab factor. Makes it kind of feel futuristic, I gotta admit. I mean, it's kind of nice. A little difficult to use one-handed if you want to swipe or do whatever. So you kind of have to start using it two-handed. The edges are really nice and rounded, very sleek sort of feel. The hinges for the ports work very well, not loose or anything. So that's really nice. What else? Not much really. It's kind of sort of bare. One thing you do see is that little notification light that's blinking there. It's actually not as strong as you may see in the video. I find that it's very easy to miss personally, but that's just, again, personal opinion. And then it comes to the buttons. All your buttons are on the side here. So power button that they normally have, and a camera button they have always. I'm never a big fan of having that camera button. I'm never really using it much to be honest with you, just because I'm not used to having that. Again, is it wrong? No, it's just different. And I totally get why they put it all on this side, is because on this side we have their wireless charging dock connector. So that's there. So very nice little feel. Showed it to a lot of people. They really loved it in terms of it's really sleek. Get a lot of comments about how big it is. That's the one thing. But the display is crisp and sharp. What I really like too is when you pretty much do anything, everything is all animated. Very very much animated driven. Everything you do on this phone. I gotta say, I really like that kind of feature. So stuff like if I'm gonna put a widget on there, little things like to bring out the trash can are animated, and it is very seamless. It doesn't slow down to do that animation. It performs very well. In fact, for that performance, it really has done very well. The no lag, no discernible sort of slow down, and even running a bunch of apps, I can hit the multi button, go back to an app like several apps ago, and it hasn't lost its place. So it's that RAM really comes into play here. But yeah, so anything that it does is very fluid, very fluid here. It's really nice. It handles very nicely. Like I said, when you do like toast messagings that come up or whatever, they kind of float in, and that animation is just really neat. What else we got here? So performance, we said, battery for that. So that higher performance, do you think the battery's going to suffer? No, it doesn't. It actually handles quite well. Let's get into the settings here. That's one thing I like to have the setting button there somewhere, but I have to go into the quick settings and then go to settings there. Anyways, and power management is found. To get the battery information, you have to go to power management, and then from there you'd have to go down to battery usage. I like looking at this stat personally. Again, is it wrong that it's there? No, it's just personal opinion. So we can see this one's had over almost 12 hours of battery life, and it's only at 40%. It does have had some charging in there, but not a whole heck of a lot. And this was my daily driver. I was using this for everything, making phone calls, doing everything else. Lasted a long time. I gotta admit that they've done a really good job with that. But to that end, I gotta say, it does get kind of warm. It does get really hot really easy. I don't know if it's just the way that they've built it, where things are in it that doesn't have much heat sinking on it, but it does get really warm pretty quickly. So it feels like it'd be disconcerting. The other thing is, I noticed that it does take a long time to charge the battery. Then again, it must be a bigger battery, right? And that the charge port I have has been kind of finicky with some of my very much go-to chargers I have around my house. I have a lot of chargers. Some of them are great, some of them are not so great. But the ones in my car and for my portable battery chargers, those guys are usually very well to work with anything I've ever put them on. So being able to put them in and it would not say charging or would say charging, I don't know why that would be. So I'm hoping that's just a defect in this one and not just something general, because that would be kind of really annoying. Yeah, so camera is a big thing. For me, that's the big thing about this phone. And, you know, you get your camera mode, you get your 4K, you got a little widget you can jump into different modes. The only thing I don't like is whenever you press to go into the camera, whether by the button or not, oh, didn't do it. I guess maybe it only happens if you press from that button. There you go, making a jerk of myself. It automatically jumps into that super intelligent mode, which I'm not a fan of. I would much rather have it always into manual mode, which I put there, so I put it as the default. It took me a while to figure out how to go into there, but so there we go. Yeah, so the camera mode, this is really cool. You can get 20 megapixel camera shots. Woo, that's really nice. Except that you lose HDR, and I think that was kind of annoying to say, well, I really want to try HDR at my resolution. You don't even get it if you're at 15 megapixels. You only get it if you're at 8 and lower. I don't know. Is that a pain? Some people might be. Who knows? Just in those low resolutions, that's when you start getting stuff like the scene options, and you can start getting HDR plus and these kind of extra high features. I really like some of those features at the 20 megapixel. The other thing is you get some apps like some of those camera apps start showing up in your tray. So there's background AR effects. AR effects is loaded up here. But the dinosaur one's always a fun one. Where's the dinosaur? Where are you, dinosaur? Oh, there he is. Maybe you can see him just running around my room. So kind of cool, but I started playing around with that, and then it just got really, really hot, and I actually shut my app down after like 5 minutes of playing with my son. So, but otherwise, like a really super performance phone, really great feel, really good battery performance, great camera. Just, I've always found that there's just some things that I'm getting nitpicky about, and I hate to be nitpicky, but that's just where I'm at with this phone. But I mean, would it stop me from buying it? Probably not, because it's a really good phone. It's just things like those buttons or that LED light or just little tiny little things that really don't mean much. But for me, I don't know. But I think everybody else, you guys would love it. I know Mark is probably mouth-watering over this thing right now. So that's the Sony Z2. I'll have more on my website. See you later. Bye.